It's Scott Manley with part 4 of my introduction to playing EVE Online. I've completed missions, basically mission arcs for the exploration and the business dudes, and so I'm going to go on and do industry next. But if you look now, we've been playing for a couple of days, and my Minmatar frigate skill is, well, it has 12 hours until I reach level 4, so I should put something into the queue to make sure that I continue to train. Now, after I've said that, training low-level skills is really good, and it absolutely is, but you can also put some medium-level skills in here. This is going to take a few hours. Pad out your queue so you train this. Gunnery is a kind of good all-round thing. Ultimately, you're going to train that to 5, so, it's not a problem with that. Electronics is a good thing to train up, as is engineering. Now, if you look at these, they actually explain in the description what they do. It says 5% bonus to ship CPU output per skill level. And that is all to do with fitting, and we'll talk about that at some point, but let's start this industry tutorial. So, agent conversation, Harbukoberg, whatever. Making mountains out of molehills. What we're going to do is start mining, and we've already talked about this. So when we get this mission, we're going to go out and we're going to mine some stuff from a place. We're going to mine some Veldspar. Veldspar is the most common mineral in the game, and okay, it tells us that we need to undock first. But one of the good things about doing the business tutorial first is that they actually gave me the venture. There, if I can make this active. And now I will have the venture, yay! So I can go into my item hanger and start fitting this thing out. Well, I've got a miner, which is a mining laser from the previous one, and there should be another mining laser here. So that's 2 mining lasers on this. That is the most mining lasers this can take. We'll just put this over here. We also have room for a warrior, which is a drone. We can probably actually just shut down the burst we don't need. We'll just repackage. Don't reprocess it, repackage it. And all the stuff that was on that gets ditched, and so I can put it on here. So, stack all. What we're looking for is we have a shield booster. There's a small shield booster. We want to put this in the mid slot. We can put the overdrive injector system in. We can make this thing go so much faster, obviously. And we can put the afterburner on. There. If we run all these things together, we will deplete our power in 28 seconds. Oh yeah, also put the other warrior drone in. So we'll have a whole 2 warrior drones in here, but I can only launch 1 at a time with my current skills. Anyway, let's take this new well-equipped venture out. Now, while this is undocking, you can see these bars here. This red bar was my CPU level, and the blue one, which will bring this back out while I'm warping. There's a couple of things going on here. We will warp to the location. It says a dead space. If we bring out this, the ship fitting, well, I talked about the engineering skill. The engineering basically means you have more power grid available, and the electronics skill makes sure you have more CPU. That's the 2 main things that control what you fit to ships. So as ships get bigger, they tend to get more of both, although they tend to get much more power grid compared to the amount of CPU. CPU is, both of those things are basically taken up by fitting a module. If you look at this thing under the fitting menu, it says it needs 60 teraflops, but it only needs 2 megawatts of power to run it. Anyway, we've warped out, and that's the way fitting works, is that you can't fit too many things on a spaceship, otherwise they can't come online and they just sit there not doing very much interesting. Okay, so I've warped to the location. Let's load the mining setup, and there's a Veldspar asteroid right there. Now I don't need to go anywhere, I just start up these mining lasers and they will mine. And I should be able to mine relatively quickly here. This is my ore hold. It's going to just sit there, and I don't even need to fly around, I just need to watch these things run. And this is the essence of mining. Every minute I'm going to get about 160 units, 160 cubic meters of Veldspar deposited into my hold. If you are doing this mission and you are in Caldari space, if you started with a Caldari pilot, I strongly recommend that you actually mine way more at this secret asteroid belt, because it's quite common to find the asteroid belts, the regular asteroid belts that you're supposed to use in later missions, have been completely depleted by people that are just mining. So mine extra now so that you don't need to worry about it later. So yeah, this is all telling you asteroid. You can have an asteroid scanner if you like. There we go. Asteroid, they have different ranges once it's full. And they also talk about jet can mining, which is less important now than it used to be. Jet can mining is where you would jettison something into space, and you would jettison a can out into space, right? So if you can right click on something, jettison, yes. And if you do that, it appears in space next to you. See that can there? And that can, if I open it up using the open up button, you can see the volume available is 27,500. And that is a great way, if you have a friend, he can come and grab stuff from that and carry it back to base in a big ship. However, the Venture has an ore hold which can carry 5,000 cubic meters, so it's just fine to use that these days. I wouldn't use jet can mining unless you're part of a corporation. It's useful, but not nearly as useful as it used to be, let's say. The solo miners can mine quite a lot. And this is actually coming down nice and quickly. Veldspar, let's take a look at the market values for this. Now, Veldspar is currently priced at about 12 units each, so you can actually do mathematics to figure out how quickly I'm making money here. I've got about 3,000 units in 2 minutes, right? So we're talking about 7,000, 70,000 ISK, so maybe like 35,000 ISK per minute, right? So if I was to use this Venture and try to mine non-stop to make the 540 million ISK that it would take to make a Plex, I wouldn't be able to do it, basically. That's just how it worked. So they talk about cooperating with other miners and things like that. Anyway, we're doing fine here. Let's load general and let's head back to the station now that we've got a whole pile of Veldspar. Now, Veldspar, you can either sell it or you can refine it. It refines into something called tritanium. Tritanium is the most common mineral in the game. And refining, as I've pointed out, is something that takes skills. The more skill you have, the less waste you get, and the more tritanium you get to keep. So, early on, it actually might be more profitable to sell the Veldspar directly, because many other people are going to have much better skills than you at the refining. If you get into mining, you really want to get your refining and your other skills much higher. There's refinery efficiency as well. So let's talk to this dude. And he says that I didn't even look to see how much he wanted. Oh yeah, I needed 999 Veldspar. Well, I have plenty, so let's bring this. Where's my thing? Ore hold, drag it into my item hanger. Complete mission. So he's completed it, and I get a bunch of cash. Request a new mission. So now this one is also going to give me the mining frigate and the mining frigate skill and the Venture spacecraft. But since I have previously got a pile of tritanium, I can just accept and complete. So this is talk about refinery efficiency and all that. Request mission. It's good to be prepared. Now we actually have to manufacture something, and this needs the industry skill. So if you haven't trained the industry skill by now, you're going to be in trouble. So what it says is I'm going to build 2 civilian afterburners. Now, civilian is a level of technology which is below Tech 1. They're pretty lousy. If you look at them, civilian afterburners, they produce civilian afterburner. There you go. And gives you a boost to the maximum. It's 32% velocity bonus for the civilian version. Whereas if I compare it against this, It is 112%. So the civilian versions of items are rubbish, and you shouldn't be using them unless you have a really good idea of why. Anyway, I'm going to manufacture this, so I'm going to right click on it, manufacture, pick an installation, and then pick the local installation here. So any of these will do. You might find that there's a bit of competition for you depending upon when you're doing it. Input will come from my hangar, output will be to your hangar. This is important if you're manufacturing at a starbase. And I'm going to do 2 runs, right? So start that up, and it tells me I'm going to need 152 titanium. So hopefully I have enough of that, and I do in fact. Now, note also stuff here. It says material multiplier skill based, right? 1.25. That means that I'm going to take 25% more material because of my low production skills. There is a skill called production efficiency, which is very important. It reduces the manufacturing material requirements by 5% per level. If you are going to manufacture and sell materials competitively, you have to get production efficiency trained up to level 5. It is very hard to make a profit if you are not working at full skills. So anyway, that's now running. If I go into the Science and Industry window, which is here, I can get my jobs, and it says job is in progress. I can click on it, and it tells me it's going to be done in 3 minutes. So instead of waiting around, let's start this military career as well. So we're going to do these things concurrently so I don't have to wait around. There's another couple of moments where I actually have to manufacture things. Cash flow for Capsuleers. What I gotta do is clear the pirates from the asteroid belt. Excellent. So let's find what spacecraft shall I use? I'm gonna use the Reaper, because it actually gets bonuses to guns, right? So make active, and we're gonna bring this up. And we have the civilian stuff, which we could actually do this mission with if we wanted. But instead, I'm going to use the better gun. I'm going to put the civilian gun on there anyway. We can leave this shield booster. We're not expecting serious problems here. We could put an expanded cargo hold on if we like. But we do need to bring ammunition. Where's the ammunition's here? That will go in. And we can probably stick that on there. We have a drone in this, but we don't really need it. We're just going to launch, accept. Oh look, this is when I complete the mission, they're going to give me another gun. Excellent. So what this is telling us is going to start giving us a tutorial about optimal range. And I've already mentioned that weapons have an optimal range in which they hit everything, assuming it is not moving, right? Right click here. Okay, it says tell us to reload this. Never mind. Look, Gatling autocannon, 200 EMPS is the ammunition type. Fall off is 4400. Optimal range is 400. So if I'm sitting at 400 meters from an object, and it is still, and I am still, every single shot is guaranteed to hit. Now, if you go out to optimal plus fall off, right? So that'll be 4800. Then only 50% of my shots will hit. And if I go out to 400 plus 8800, so that's 9200, that is the absolute limit of my range, and basically 0 will hit. But there's another thing that gets important here. If you show info on the Gatling autocannon, there is something called tracking speed, and there's also there's a signature thing in here somewhere. Signature resolution 40. These two things combine to decide whether you hit something that is moving or not. So I'm going to go to cash flow for Capsuleers and warp to the location so I can actually shoot these things. So smaller guns with shorter ranges tend to have higher tracking. That means they can hit small and fast moving targets. Now, by fast moving, I mean fast moving laterally. If you're traveling straight towards a target, then you have no lateral motion and you're an easy target. If you're traveling perpendicular, that is sideways, you are a much harder target and more shots will miss. So it's very important in combat that you maximize your lateral velocity, and that is why you do not simply fly towards a target in combat. You use the orbit command. So there's this button here that says orbit at 1000 meters. That is a good range for these weapons. So I'm going to start it, and I'm also going to click target. So we're going to orbit these targets and we're going to shoot them when we get within range. Now you can right click on this and set a default orbit distance, or you can right click on the target and choose what distance you want to orbit at. If you are a nerd, you can go in and come up with spreadsheets that will tell you exactly the optimum distance based on your speed and weapon types to orbit a target. Anyway, I'm just going to start shooting this guy because he deserves death. Well, the other target is beyond my targeting range. I can only target things out to 2200 meters, 22,000 meters. So I can't go and attack him just yet. Okay, let's go after these guys. Target and approach. This is where the Afterburner would have been nice to have. Oh, target, target. There we go. Interesting thing to note is that when you're mousing over to pick a target, the distance won't change. This is an important thing. It shows lock. So again, I hold down control, click on the target to target them, click on orbit, and now I'm going to unleash hell. Look at that. Yes, that was fast. Now again, click orbit. We're just using the default 1000 meter orbit. Now depending upon what kind of weapon you're using, you may want to orbit at different speeds. If you have weapons that are really long range, you don't want to be orbiting super close because then all your shots will miss. Now see this, see these, we have 3 different wrecks floating in space. Let's add these to the overview. Now these are all wrecks. If you have a salvager, you can salvage these wrecks, but this one here, notice how the little triangle is filled in? That means that it actually has stuff on board. So I'm going to go and pick the stuff up from the wreck so that I can add it to my pile of loot and perhaps sell it for some profit. There we go. Open that. There we have titanium sabot, which is a type of ammunition, which is longer range than my EMP. And we have some metal scraps. Let's go after this target. Yeah, let's while we're flying towards the target, we can compare these. Show info. So you have that, and if I, what is it? There's a way to show info in a new window. I forget. Titanium sabot has a tracking speed, higher tracking speed, but it has no change to the range. Whereas EMP, if you see, it has a range bonus of -50%, so it reduces the range at which my weapon will hit. But it does more damage. That's the other thing. If you look, kinetic, explosive damage and kinetic damage. So that's 2 and 6 for the sabot. Not view market details. Show info. This one does 9 EM damage and 2. So there are multiple damage types, and we will talk about that later. Anyway, I'm just trying to get in close towards this dude so I can kill him. He is ignoring me right now. If I want, I can attract his attention by shooting my, civilian gun at him. He will totally miss, but he might decide to approach me a little faster. Nope, he's still not trying. Look, you can see the guns firing here. Look at that. That's the civilian version. He's still not coming in. Good lord, I'm firing at him. You'd think he would, do something. Ah, there, finally. He has yellow boxed me, which means he has targeted me, but he is not yet firing. As soon as he starts firing, he'll turn red. Flashing red box. There, flashing red block means he's shooting at me. You can see those things going. Let's look at it. Look at this dude as I'm flying past. I'm shooting guns at him, he's shooting guns at me. I'm going to start firing the real weapons. Now actually the EMP-S is kind of lousy for shooting at angels. You really want fusion ammunition because angels like to use... Angels are vulnerable. The angels being the pirate types that I'm dealing with. They are more vulnerable to explosive damage than they are to EM damage. So It's very odd. All the races get damaged, get weapons which are tuned to their NPCs, right? But the Minmatar get EMP ammo when they could have fusion, right? Fusion has the same parameters as EMP, except that it does explosive damage instead of electromagnetic. So I think the Minmatar tutorial should be giving you, Fusion S instead, so that you're more well equipped for dealing with the local pirates. Anyway, we are here, we are docked.
Docking permission requested.
Yes, and docking shall be granted.
Docking request accepted.
Thank you. Come on, there, we're inside, and our timer is now running. Okay, so let's talk to the military dude. We'll complete his mission. Complete mission. And now that means we've got two things. They say open the repair shop. We don't actually need it, but if you need to repair things, you can. And we will open the Science and Industry tab, and we'll complete the Industry mission as well. So we're doing Industry and Combat. There we go. So double click on it. It says output. It's all ready. State is ready. Time to completion is ready. Deliver. And so their job gets complete. And now we should have 2 civilian afterburners somewhere in here. 2 civilian afterburners. There we go. Civilian gear. It's what nobody uses. So double click on this guy. Complete the mission. And I get an expanded cargo hold, which is kind of interesting, but not that interesting. Give us a new mission, sir. Now you've proven your ability, so let's get you into proper action. Basically it says, destroy rogue drones and mine the Veldspar for your agent. So let's go back to the Venture. The Venture being a much better spacecraft for mining. And we shall accept. And accept. Cargo capacity warning. It says that I need... Yeah, this is a warning that is actually irrelevant. If you're flying the Venture, what it's saying is that to complete this mission you need 70 cubic meters of cargo space, but the Venture's cargo bay is only 42.5. However, the Venture has a dedicated storage bay for ore, so it's not a problem. So, miner. We have 2 miners, we're all awesome. Let's undock and start... we got to destroy the drones, unfortunately. We can't just bring in the Veldspar. We'll need to refine when I get back to the station. Excellent. So drones are another enemy type that we have yet to encounter, but I shall go and deal with them. Encounter dead space warp to location. Now, if you haven't got drone skills yet, you're going to need to put a gun on your ship so you can actually attack them. I guess technically you could put a smart bomb on your ship, but you wouldn't have that skill either. Drones are a perfectly good way to do things. And in fact, that's probably a good idea. Let's take a look at my skills. Can I, if I train drones to level... well, it says level 1 is 8 minutes. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add drones in here. And so that'll get me level 2. It means I'll be able to use 2 drones at once. Apply changes, yes. So that will help us. So we're going to go to... We're going to target these guys. Actually, we're going to load mining. Start mining a couple of different asteroids. If you have multiple asteroids, it can be good to apply different mining lasers to different targets. Oh, except that I haven't got the skill to target both... target these drones at the same time. So I'm just going to launch one of mine and hopefully it will start doing its thing. Now, rogue drones are essentially drones that have gone rogue. And yes, the Moth Apis, it looks a little like my warrior drone. Show info, is it? Oh, look at it. Look at... Ah, there, look at. That is my drone. It is a Minmatar drone, so it's much more angular. You can see this is just going to fly around, and hopefully, if these rogue drones decide to attack me, then it will attack them because it's just going to guard me. It's just hanging out there while I mine. Apparently these drones aren't that interested. Maybe if I fly towards them, they'll take the bait. There. So you can only target 2 ships to start with because that is the base targeting number. You can train a skill called targeting, which will let you target more things, surprisingly. Ah, look, now this drone is just orbiting me. Ah, there. So now it's starting to attack me. And now my rogue drone, my warrior, it is not rogue, it is doing exactly what I tell it. It is now fighting and killing these things. So while I'm sitting here fighting, I can run my shield booster to make sure my shields are not getting taken down. And it is just picking the targets as they appear. Excellent. Now, what's going on? Nothing in these drones, so nothing to deal with here. That's right, drones used to contain materials, right? Drones used to make money from the stuff they dropped. They used to drop essentially alloys and minerals which you could refine for extra cash. Return to drone bay. So let's check the mission. Have I completed it? Making mountains out of molehills. It says 7,000 units of titanium, which I should have. Have I killed enough of the rogue drones? I think let's try it. Let's load default general and head back to the station.
Warp drive active.
I'm not sure if other drones are supposed to turn up or hold. 3,000. Yeah, we should have plenty of that stuff. For each, let me see, for 300 units of Veldspar, you get about 1,000 titanium. But then, of course, you lose a little in terms of taxes and other stuff. So I should have 7,000 easily. The Venture is a great ship. I mean, the Venture will do a lot of stuff for you. In the old days, if you were on a newbie tutorial account, then the biggest ships you could fly were the Osprey. That was the biggest thing you could fly that could mine well. And it would have maybe a cargo capacity of 1,000. So this one is much bigger. It doesn't mine just as fast, but it does a pretty good job. So, let's move this to the item hangar. And how much titanium do I actually have? I gotta refine some of this. So let's refine this. Now you'll notice that it's gonna quantity is 4545. Reprocess. It leaves 216 because it only refines in blocks of 333. So now I have 16,000 units. I can in fact complete this mission. Yay, and I get another mining laser, but I can't actually fit that mining laser on this ship because I don't have any free turret slots. I have a free high slot, but I don't have free turret slots. Okay, close this down. Now this is a courier mission. Great, so I should find a ship that flies fast. What did I... if I have in the ship hangar, the probe, I'll make that active because that's actually relatively quickly. So I've got to go to Abrat, set destination, which is 4 jumps away. Good lord. Add waypoints. We're going to come back. Accept. So now I go into the item hangar and I look for these crates of electronic parts and I just drop it into the probe. We don't need anything else. We're just going to fly across the universe. And that will take a little bit of time, during which I shall have to find something to pass the time to talk about. Ah. Warp. Oh, no, I don't want... No, I don't want to do that. You can't immediately redock. There we go. We're going to warp off that way. I get a little confused because the station was also yellow. Okay. There's my probe. This is the survey ship, if you remember. If you have started as other races, you will either have a Magnate if you're a Marian, you will have a Heron if you're Kaldari, and if you are Galenti, you will have... God, I completely forget. You will have the Galenti scanning ship. So that means I'm going to have to look at the market to find what the frigates are. Let's browse frigates, and we'll see ships. Frigates. Standard frigates. So Galenti have the Atron. Oh yes, the Navitas, the Malus, the Imicus. The Imicus is their... Yes, that's their scanning ship. There you go. You see that? Okay, so I'm going to continue following these yellow ones. So
Warp drive active.
each race basically has a bunch of different frigates, right? But they all fall into more or less the same classes, right? So if you look, actually, if you look at the size, if you look by clicking on the tab, right? You can scroll through the list. The Bantam gets a bonus to logistics. The Condor is a combat ship. Griffin is an ECM ship. Heron is a probe ship. Ibis is the newbie rookie ship. Kestrel is their missile combat ship. And the Merlin is another combat ship, right? So similarly, the Amarians, they get the same number of ships and they get the same roles. They get 3 combat ships in slightly different roles. They get the Crucifier, which is an electronic warfare ship specializing in tracking disruptors. The Executioner is a combat ship. The Imperator is their newbie ship. The Inquisitor it used to be their missile ship, but now it is their logistics, armor repair ship. The Magnate is their probing ship. The Punisher is another combat ship, and the Tormentor is their... It is actually a drone-style ship, I believe. It has a decent-sized drone bay, if I remember. Attributes... What does it have? Or fitting, maybe. Is that where drones are? No. Let's look under... Oh, yeah. It can fit 2 drones, so it's not terrible. It's a combat ship. It used to be their mining ship. So, again, you see the same thing. There's a rookie ship. There's a probing ship. There's an electronic warfare ship in the form of the Malice, but it gets a bonus to sensor dampeners. And here we are, Abrat.
Warp drive active.
The Navitas is their logistics ship. The Tristan, it used to be their missile ship, but it's now a drone ship. It has a better sized drone bay. Yeah, it can fit for a whole wing of drones. In fact, it can fit 5. It can fly 5 drones, and it can fit 8 of them in its bay if it wants. And of course, yeah, the Minmatar. We have the same set of things. The only thing we haven't seen so far, I guess, is the Vigil, which is it is their electronic warfare ship. Minmatar get a bonus to target painters. Target painters is actually one of the few types of E-War which is useful in NPC battles, fighting against NPC missions or whatever. There we have arrived at Abrat, and we shall go in and take a look here. The Rifter is, of course, the most famous Minmatar spacecraft, I believe. I mean, it's quite easily the most famous spacecraft. And for some reason, my mouse cursor is broken. Let's bring that back out again. Breacher is a missile ship for them as well. Yeah, where is it? I was going to take a look at the Rifter. The Rifter being one of the most distinctive and well-known spacecraft from the EVE universe. It used to be a really well-balanced ship. It used to be by far the best frigate for PvP because it had a nice slot layout and it used weapons which didn't need capacitor. So it was really good to take into combat. Okay, complete mission. Excellent, now we're going to head home. That was a really long trip for nothing. So let's take also a look at the map. While we're travelling across space, it's a good idea to look at the map. Oh look, somebody left a Reaper in space. That's interesting. I could steal somebody's spaceship if I wanted to. I don't think I want to. Okay. So you notice this one is to build capacitor boosters. This one I will probably just buy them from the market because there's such a thing as opportunity cost, i.e. the money I would save by building these things myself is eclipsed by the amount of money I make doing other more interesting things. We're about 34 minutes into this video and I want to I want to continue. So I showed you the system map when we were doing the scanning, but there was also the star map. The star map, of course, covers the entire known universe. And you see here it says Metropolis. That is the region we're in. Here it says Metropolis. You can go in and you can fly around, and there's all these interesting places. Divinity's Edge. I don't know. Can you... Divinity's Edge? Yes. In the early stages of a Marian expansion through space, they encounters Divinity's Edge, a huge void with little in the way of solar systems or other stellar bodies. For a long time they believed this was the end of the galaxy, and that beyond this point nothing existed. Centuries later, the Great Wildlands were discovered, and this theory was abolished, though the name for the place has remained. So actually, we can take a look at a star map. Oh, search star map. Yeah, you can change the way things are displayed here. This is displayed by security status. We zoom in to move the drag around here. You see this one is orange. It's 0.4 security status. If we went into that, pirates would be able to attack us. We go further in, it gets 0.3, 0.2, and if you go out eventually you get into 0, and notice these systems, they don't have names anymore, they have code names. Most 0 systems do not have actual names. Uptes, yes. You can also look at other really interesting things. Statistics is a good one to look at. You can look at the number of pilots in space in the last 30 minutes, so you can actually see which systems are interesting. If I drag this around, you can see Heck. Heck is a kind of something of a trade hub. If I zoom out, maybe I can find another one. Kaldari State over here. See this? We drag it. There's this red one here. That's Jita. Jita is the most important trade hub in the entire game. And I think it says it's very odd that it says 93 pilots. Oh, of course. It's usual to have like 2,000 pilots in Jita, but most of them stay docked all day just playing the market. Now you can also take a look at number of ships destroyed in the last 24 hours. And some of these, I guess, are NPC ships. Yes, 160 ships, that seems unlikely. 165, I guess these are actual real ships here. Jita, 208 ships destroyed. Uitra, 302, that is a newbie system. A lot of people falling into traps there. But this, of course, goes all the way out into nullsec, and you can see where battles are being fought here. 51 ships. There's one out here. Nylas. Oh, this is the Cauldron. Where is that? There's a bunch of different regions. Soliara. I wonder who's doing all that. Let's get to this station.
Warp drive active.
Jumps in the last hour as well. Shows you which systems are actually active. You won't really see many jumps out here, but once you get in, you can see some of these routes. These are common. Erlen, Serpala, Inaro, Caputan. This is the route between Amar and Jita, Madmural, whatever, Ashab, and Amar. Amar being the home world of the Amarians. That is a major trade hub as well. And the trade route between Jita and Amar is huge, and is one of the most common places to capture, to find ships that are carrying expensive wares and attack and destroy them. So anyway, let us continue the industry tutorial. Now it says, yes, we're going to accept this. Let's go to the market. View market details. Cap booster. Oh my goodness, yes. Somebody is having a laugh. They're selling them for 19,998. Are you having a laugh? Yeah, these are quite ridiculous. I should have looked at that before I got here. Well, I guess I'm going to buy this. I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to accept the mission. And I'm going to have to actually build this thing. So let's try building it. Item hanger. Cap booster. Manufacturing. So it says 20 cap boosters. But if you look at the blueprint, it says it produces a block of 10 cap boosters. So I only need to do 2 runs here. There. Okay, pick installation. Okay. Now it tells me I need something called Mexalon and Pyrite. Okay. Stack all. Now, I could probably get this from the market by buying it, or I could just refine stuff that I'm not really interested in using. What should I do here? White noise ECM is rather cheap. If I reprocess this, what do I get? I get megasite and pyrite. Not that interesting. If I refine this, what do I get? I get mexalon and pyrite. Is that what I want? Mexalon and pyrite. So yeah, I've got this spare mining laser. I can just reprocess it and get the stuff that I need. Refresh. Now I can actually do this. Accept quote. So the job is started. And get jobs. It tells me it's going to be 3 minutes. So let's talk to this dude about another military job. So in this one it says, eliminate the pirates, rescue the civilian miner, and when I complete the mission, I am going to get this slasher. Also, I'm going to get this new skill book, motion prediction. So I'm going to accept this. Most likely the weapon you've been using requires no ammunition, etc. This is telling you about ammunition. So we're going to fit, and in fact we're going to switch our spacecraft because we were in that because it was slightly faster. What we want is the Reaper. Make active. And let's actually move one of these warrior drones into this drone base. So it'll give me a little extra firepower. Also, yeah, we had this civilian Gatling gun, but we got given a new Gatling gun here. There we go. 125mm autocannon. Drop that in here. Take it off the ship. Put the actual Tech 1 on the ship model on there. So that will be a real, honest-to-God, actual, for reals, cool gun type thing. Okay. And there's nothing else that I want to fit on my ship at this time. I have the shield booster. It will be more than fine against these targets. ECM system I can't use. But I want to find motion prediction and start training this to level 1. Motion prediction, remember I was talking about tracking. This basically makes your tracking of your weapons better. So let's undock and start attacking these things. And after this I will get a nice ship in the form of the Slasher. The Slasher being... It used to be a, fast, small ship, but when they got rebalanced it became the equal of the Rifter. In fact, some people think it's better than the Rifter now because it has 4 mid-slots. So, warning about loading. Yes, so actually I'm going to put titanium sabot into this gun. That means this one will track slightly better, and this one will use EMP ammo. Actually, that was a really bad idea. Ignore what I've just done, right? What I'm going to do is hold shift and drag this one onto there, and now I have 2 guns in a single group. And I'm going to load titanium sabot. It does less damage, but it actually does more damage of the types that I care about. Plus it gets a bonus to tracking. Okay, so we're going to fly towards these targets. Next, different weapons have different type of charges. So they're telling you here, yeah, lasers use frequency crystals, projectile turrets use projectile ammo, hybrid turrets use hybrid ammunition, go figure, and missile launchers use missiles. Would you like to know more? Always would like to know more. Let's head towards this target. He's closest. Oh, look, now they're all attacking me. What happened to my drones? Did I not put anything in my drone bay? Oh, you know what? I didn't put anything in my drone bay. I was terrible. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just have to kill them the old-fashioned way using guns. Using all of my guns. Notice that I have 2 guns installed on the ship, but the model actually shows 4. That's because each gun can only cover half of the sky. So I'm orbiting this thing. Make sure I've got things sorted by distance. And when I get within about 8 kilometers, that's when we want to start firing. That's when we have a chance to hit. There we go. Oh, should be targeting. I didn't target. Target. There we go. Now we start shooting. Oh, that was fast. Target this dude. And then hold control. Click on the other guy, which is still out of range. Start the orbit on him. And when he gets close enough, Well, that would be about 8 kilometers or thereabouts. That's when you start having a chance to hit. Start firing. And you see the red indicates that we're actually in combat with that guy. Flying past him, and he dies. He succumbs to my weapons. Again, note there is a wreck there which has a solid circle on it. I'm going to fly down there and grab that because loot is nice to have early on. Sometimes, as you see, I was able to refine it to help me with that other mission. Meanwhile, these ones have now moved into range and they are targeted, but they are not in range of my weapons, so I'm going to hang back and wait for them to approach me. Well, let's open it. Okay, I've got proton ammunition. Now, proton is like EMP in that it does EM damage. However, it is a long-range version, which means it does less damage but gives you slightly longer range. I'm not going to use it because EM damage against angels, which or Gisty is what they're shown as. Gisty, Gistum. That's the code word or whatever for the various angel spacecraft. There we go. That's another one dead. Oh, and I get a little cargo bay, and presumably that is the cargo canister which contains the item which will let me complete the mission. That is the civilians that I've been trying to save. Civilians are a group of people who follow pursuits of civil life. Okay. And they mass 1,000 kilograms. That must mean there's a few of them. That means there's like 10 of them fitting into 5 cubic meters. That is quite a tight fit, I think. Okay. But they go into my cargo hold along with the ammunition and the metal scraps and stuff. Let's stack all this. Almost home. We should probably look for ammunition here. I'm going to look for fusion ammunition because fusion is going to do more damage. Fusion S. Most of the other races, if you're doing any of the other career arcs, you do not need to worry. But this one you do need to worry. I'm going to buy like 1,000 units of this. 1,000. There, that will see me through the various missions. Okay, career military. Complete the mission. So now I have a new and more awesome ship, and I will use that one from now on because it is better in every way. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek. He is better at everything. Well, except for, you know, not losing. Okay, we should be able to deliver this. So we go to the jobs, get jobs, manufacturing, deliver, and now we have our cap boosters, and we've completed that mission. So let's continue the engineering, the industry one. So we gotta carry a bunch of cap boosters to this location, set destination, and they add waypoint. And as a reward, I will get an overdrive injector system. Great. Well, actually, yeah, if I complete the mission. So, I'm just going to close this down. We've got our slasher now. So what I'm going to do is open up my hangar, and we're going to look at the ship hangar. Now, the slasher is going to be faster than everything else, I believe. If you look at it, where does it show you? The base speed is 430, and I think like the probe was the previous, if you show this, 430, 360, you see, the Reaper, 392, so this is going to be faster than all of those, which is a good thing. Plus it is agile as well. So make that active, and we can repackage, yeah, we've made that. Repackage, yes, I'm going to repackage the Reaper. Repackaging being a fast way to get all the stuff in one place, to get all the parts taken off it. You see, this one is way more slots now. This is a combat ship. It is set up to kill things. So let's, this is now we're going to actually start setting up our spacecraft. We have 2 Gatling autocannons, right? We're going to put those on there. We're going to put on our Afterburner, because Afterburner is good to have. We have this civilian shield booster. You know what? We should probably take that one off the Venture. Or we can just buy one. Let's try and set up this spacecraft properly. Civilian, well, we will not put a civilian shield booster on it. Also note, no drone bay. Okay, so fusion is the ammunition I wanted. Fusion! Excellent. I want to put that in the bay. Into the cargo bay. You go. Now we can fit one more turret on this. So I'm going to go to the market and find 125mm. Oh, yes. 125 Gatling autocannon. There we go, cheap. But I have a decent amount of room in this ship. I could put bigger guns in this. I'm going to go for 150s. 150mm light autocannon. And actually, you see we have these slightly different ones. Carbine, prototype. They're all more expensive. These four, they all drop from pirates. And that's the only way to get them. Yeah, somebody's really exploiting the market here. Light autocannon. Let's buy this. I'm going to buy 3 of these and put them on my spacecraft instead. So these should do more damage, right? And so if I look... Okay, 150mm, where are you? Let's take these guns off because we're not going to go with these wimpy small ones. 1, 2, 3. Now for the mid slots, well, we have a shield booster, so let's put a shield booster on there. Ship equipment, large shield booster, medium shield booster. We should show only available. That means it's highlighted. So we have a few different options here. 140,000. Small shield booster 1 is here for 28k. But oh, shield booster. Let's make sure it says that. Yes, small shield booster 1 is the only one that's actually here. And that's 149. But if I actually come out of this and look in ship equipment, shield boosters, small, that actually gives you the complete list, and you can these are all slightly, they're all, you know, cool. Basically, small shield booster 1 is, you know, okay. Now if I look at variations, you see there are different variations on this, so I can click compare. Now the compare tool lets you see all these different kinds of shield boosters there are. And one way to compare them is the energy that it takes to activate them and the activation time, which is the time between each cycle, the shield bonus you get. So if you sort them by shield bonus, you'll see that the small shield booster only outputs 23 per cycle. But if you look at these ones, the small Condor's deflection catalyzer, whatever that is, it does 24, then 25, 26. These 4 are slightly better versions. So you're going to find these as trash essentially anywhere. 140k, yeah, people are really, you know, really taking the Mickey here, let's say. Small neutron. Looking in the attributes is what it is. Tech level 1, meta level 2, and this one is meta level 1. So I could spend 89,000 and get a slightly better shield booster, which might make all the difference, right? So I'm going to do that, right? You see, elsewhere, if I go to the trade hub, 10,000 is what I'd be paying. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm just going to buy the regular one, small shield booster 1, fit that to my spacecraft. Sometimes these meta level items have lower CPU requirements. That's another thing. Let's take a look at the CPU usage. CPU usage is different. So 25 for the basic small shield booster, but these ones, the meta level ones, they're much lower CPU. So if you start to run out of space on this, it can be a good thing to do. So let's fit Small shield booster to my spacecraft. Now, another good thing to fit to a combat ship early on is damage control. Control. This should be another cheap-ish item. There we go, buy that. It looks like a little suitcase. And when it's turned on, it makes you much tougher. Doesn't make you much tougher, but it helps keep you alive. It makes your defense go up. Let's take a look at defense here. You see these values here. These are your resistances. So I'm not even doing this mission yet. I'm just fitting out a ship so I can do combat later on. So as I drag this on, okay, yeah, when I turn this on, it will be more obvious. Do I have the overdrive? I don't have overdrive, but I have it fitted on the other one. I can make my ship go faster. We're gonna get some items probably that will fill in these gaps, but it's a bad idea to leave space on ships. So normally what you would fit in these slots is something that would either make it easier for you to hit a target, perhaps, or something that might make your shield more strong. So if I go in, and I'm really getting off track here actually, the first thing to look at is shield resistance amplifiers. And so you can make your shield stronger against explosive damage, and it costs 98,000. EM ward amplifier, that increases your resistance against electromagnetic damage, and that might be good, except that the Gisti, the Angels don't do that much damage. If I look at this, the prerequisites, I need this skill called shield upgrades. So I should probably start training that, right? So let's go to the market, buy that, and start training it. Shield upgrades. Train now to level 1. That'll be a good thing to know. The other thing you might want is a capacitor cap recharger, right? Cap rechargers basically recharge your capacitor more quickly. This needs energy grid upgrades. You get the idea here. Now, for the low slot, you can fit something that makes you go faster. You could fit something that makes you more agile. Another thing you can fit is damage increasing mods, and these are for Minmatar ships. You want to fit Gyro Stabilizers. These increase your damage when using projectile weapons, right? You see it says 7.5% rate of fire, 7% more damage. That's great. That's awesome. However, if you are a Marian, you will be fitting heat sinks. If you are Galenti, you will be using magnetic field stabilizers, as would Kaldari if they are using railguns. If you're using missiles, you're going to use ballistic control systems. I do not have the skills for these. I need the skill weapons upgrades, and that may actually come as part of this tutorial. So I'm going to just leave this kind of half-fitted out spaceship for now, right? We'll get much more chance to improve on this later. That was a little more about fitting. So this is the mission. We're going to travel this distance, except... So we're going to find the cap boosters. Cap boosters. And yes, going to drag that into my slasher. And let's launch and take a look at this new and more awesome spaceship, which is actually a combat spaceship, but it is also rather agile. It should align much more quickly than, say, my Venture. This one, the Tech 2 versions of this are Interceptors, which means they are the most agile and fast ships in the game. This is actually one of the most agile Tech 1 ships that you can get. Not sure why, because it looks kind of has a weird center of mass issue thing going on, but to be honest, you know, Eve is not known for dealing with physics particularly accurately, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, that's a slasher. Oh yeah, let's hit this little button here to group all weapons. Now you see I've piled them all into a group of 3. I'm going to jump through the gate and watch the gate jump animation. If you are involved in fleet PvP, then you will see a lot of that. In fact, you can get stuck in that for several minutes if the server is heavily loaded. So let's right click on this, load in the fusion ammunition. Also, yeah, I was trying to show you this earlier. Remember what I said about these resistance values? Watch me turn on the damage control. Turn that on, it starts glowing and all my resistances go up, which means that if I take damage now, I will take less damage. So damage control is a great thing to have around, especially in PvP when it really helps with your structure. It doubles the amount of structure hit points you have, and that can make a huge difference in PvP.
Docking request accepted.
Okay, docking request accepted. We are here. We're going to complete this mission and then head home. And since we're hitting the 1 hour mark, I think it's time for me to say, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.